want to summarize last time, anybody, or should I take the summary?
I can do it.
Yeah.
All of us woke up on the way to White Fork, I think, or in and around White Fork, close to Galen Falls. We all woke up inside fleshy pods of some kind, with no memory of how we got there. We met up with some other people who apparently we had been companions with earlier, and other people who were, and one other person who was just crazy. We met some like cultists of some kind, killed them and their leader, and then we had just gotten ready to, I guess, get out of there and keep trying to figure out a way out. Remind me the name of the gnome who was with us.
The gnome
is it Chester or Jasper?
The halfling is Chester Halfhill. The gnome is Jasper. Jasper Runewood. Sadly, Chester is no longer with us, having been brutally stabbed after receiving many wounds in his attempt to free the rest of you guys from the pods. Yeah, so you can like see him down on the ground there, very roguish kind of colors, dressed similarly to Branbreck in the dark kind of loose-fitting leathers and that sort of thing. It seems like he's a very sneaky little fellow. Yeah, as you guys are standing there, kind of like looking around, finishing getting your gear on, Jasper, the red-haired, red-bearded gnome, is looking around. He goes, "Oh no, we don't know how long we've been out here. Hold on a second." And he starts going through his bags and pulling out all these little jars and lining them up on the table. And he's like lining them up, looking at. He's like, "Oh, geez, are you guys all right in there?" And he's looking around, kind of peering each one. He's like, "Jimmy, Johnny, Jessica, Jamie, all right. Victor, Valerie, Gary, Greg, all right. David, Donna, Derek, Pippi. Okay. All right, everyone seems to be okay. All right, well, good news. I mean, we couldn't have been in there too long. All the kids are all right, so. And as you look through all these jars, they're all filled with like little bugs, just like full of bugs. There's like one jar. It's got like it's got like four slugs like on the outside, just like a couple little snails and slugs. One's got these little lightning bugs you can see faintly pulsing in there. There's two big black spiders with vivid red markings on their body. Two deep green and purple with the pointed backside that you might recognize as like a horrible stink bug. All these just bizarre little bugs in there, and you can see Jasper looks around and goes like, "Whoa, well, good news. It looks like we couldn't have been in there too long because everyone seems to be all right in here." And he's kind of looking at the jar and like, "All right, guys, all right, okay, all right." Okay, well, he starts putting it back into his bag there. Looks like, I mean, what's the plan here? What do you guys want to do? Everyone's...
I hate to see evil. It looks like somebody's muted. I hate to see evil left. I hate to leave evil behind me. I almost feel we should make sure we purge this place before we move on. But the question is, do we have the manpower to do it?
I mean, that's a fair question. I don't really know what it is we're going to be coming up against.
I don't have a great feel for how big this place is, but it scares me that we were so easily abducted and lost our memories and brought to this place.
And just to clarify, none of you guys have any memory of how we got here?
I don't.
I
don't remember going to the town.
I kind of walk over to the corpse of Chester, and I'm like, if only we could have asked this guy more before he died. He seemed to be the only one of us who knew. He knew who I was. I have no idea who he was, but if only we could have asked him a couple more questions before he bit the dust.
I have no songs for the dead.
He's obviously a fairly loyal fellow. I mean, it seems like he came in here on his own to try and help us out. It's
That would explain why he had his gear with him. I'm gonna just go through his pockets. I'm not gonna take anything, but like, is there any identification or anything like that inside his pocket?
Go ahead and roll an investigation.
I wonder if his faith was enough to bring him back. Would it be worthwhile to bring him out of here?
+2, so 3.
Yeah, you're kind of searching through. He's not going anywhere. But as you're looking through, you don't seem to find any identifying features or paperwork or anything like that. It just seems to be, he's got some daggers on him. He's got a light crossbow, or hand crossbow, I'm sorry. A few bolts, that sort of thing. Very, very trimmed down pack. It looks like he was, everything's padded and secured so that it doesn't make any noise. Just looks like he's a very stealthy individual, but no paperwork on him or anything like that.
No, like, signet rings or anything like that?
Yeah.
Articles of faith?
Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, so I guess, he does have a necklace on with just like a very simple sunburst kind of emblem on it. So, if I remembered what god that was for the pantheon we chose, it would be that one. But yeah, it'll just say, your basic kind of god of the harvest, god of the sun. Kind of,
the god that like everybody kind of worships and
yeah, kind of the
okay.
Yep. But actually, that's something to think about. Actually, and you see you see Jasper start like padding. He's got this vest on. It's like dark green, kind of mottled colors, all put together. It's got like pockets on pockets just everywhere. Like, every little pocket has another pocket and separated in there. And he's like searching through and he's like looking through. He's like, actually, that's a good point. Maybe we should all check to see if there's anything on us that has any indication of what we're doing here. He's like pulling stuff out, looking through little clumps of tools and twigs and twine, just all these pockets that he's looking through. Everything just seems normal.
I'll look through my pockets too.
Okay.
Anything out of the ordinary?
I'd say that if you've got a place where you keep any paperwork, Dakron, you get to that point. So maybe an inside pocket on your vest or jacket or something like that you happen to wear, and you pull out this letter, and it reads briefly, Dakron, I need your assistance as soon as possible. Please meet me at my place at your earliest convenience. Signed, Alistair Westfall.
Does that name ring a bell?
Do a history check.
Ooh. 19
Yeah.
+0.
You do recall a gentleman named, yes, quite vividly. It didn't take much. You way overdid it with that 19. But yeah, you're familiar with a General Alistair Westfall, who was in command of a large section of troops during the war. Your platoon had a lot of interaction with him. You had friendly rapport with him, and during your visits to White Fork, you would occasionally go on small jobs for him and do things now and then. He's kind of set up a modest trade for himself in White Fork, kind of living out his retirement for the most part.
Okay. Was he like my superior?
Yeah. He was, in charge of numerous platoons, and your platoon had kind of distinguished themselves at various times. And then, of course, after the tragedy, he was one of those that kind of pull you aside and console you and that sort of thing. He's a stand-up kind of guy.
All right, cool. Well, I remember this Chester fellow saying something about us saving the Westfall children. And so I'm, my war buddy Alistair, I would imagine that has something to do with that. But I don't remember what we accepted to do exactly, so that's a clue at least.
Could I put this in? It rankles me greatly knowing that we've left pods that obviously still have people in them. I know there's probably a 50-50 chance they could be crazy berserkers like the fellow we had to deal with when we woke up. But can we in good conscience, no matter what our tendencies are, leave these people in these pods? Some of them are obviously fresher than ours, and some are probably past saving.
That's a good point. Is your name Hargus?
Argus. Thanks for reminding me of my accent.
It's a good point, Argus. I don't know what we can do. There's only a few of us. Maybe we should focus on getting out, and then we can maybe get some help to come in and make like a rescue mission or something. I'm afraid that if it is a little higher chance of 50-50 that they're all crazy, we could get overwhelmed and we would never make it out here to save the others.
The one we overcame nearly did us in. So
yeah, if they're all like that, maybe we're the only ones who are sane, maybe not, but I don't know. It's hard to say whether we should take that chance or not.
I have to agree as much as it rankles.
I hate to leave people behind, but we can come back as soon as we can, at least, if we can figure out what the best way out is anyway.
Right. Well,
let's make haste.
That tunnel was fairly straightforward. There was an up and a down. Which way should we go?
So this room that we're in is in kind of the middle of the hall. Was it like a turn or?
It was a long tunnel. You guys went upward from where your pods were. You went up the tunnel. You kind of curved a bit to the right, and then you could hear the voices, or Brandbrick could hear the voices, kind of, shuffling and talking in this room as you guys went up. Chester had pointed up that way.
Okay, so if we leave this room, then there's a hallway going up and down. Okay, I thought this was like at the end of the hallway, so that makes sense.
Yep. This is off.
My vote is that we keep going up. We made progress going this way in the beginning, but I don't know. Maybe we're going the wrong way. It's kind of a 50-50 chance. What do you guys think?
I'm with you.
All right. Yes.
I'm gonna add this passable dagger to my menagerie of weapons.
Indeed. It feels callous to say, but I suppose Chester won't be needing any of his weapons either. So
I see the way you're leaning, and I agree. And might I add that he surely will, when we get back to town, want to buy us a drink. So perhaps we should take any spare change he has.
Indeed.
I just kind of roll my eyes, like, do what you want. I'm not going to be part of it, but whatever.
That's all right. I'll be buying, or Chester will.
Yeah. See.
I'll be buying by proxy.
You can grab a couple. A couple extra daggers and a hand crossbow, some bolts if you want. No.
I had no use for the hand crossbow.
Okay.
Not my style.
All right.
But I will grab a dagger.
Okay.
Maybe Brandbrick might want the hand crossbow.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah. We'll assume.
Seems like his type of.
Yeah, he's like.
Yeah.
Not a proper weapon,
I
but
love a good hand crossbow.
that's the way he wants to walk.
I'm a dwarf. He grabbed.
Then.
What's that?
Shame on you then. No proper dwarf weapon.
All right, so you guys make it back out in the hallway, kind of looking up one direction, down the other direction, checking around. Who wants to take the lead?
I'll take the lead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, you could both take the lead. Walk side by side.
No,
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
play my drum.
I mean,
Maybe I won't play it right now.
well, I've always favored a straightforward approach. If you'd rather sneak than be my guest, I'm not much of a, I'm not much like that dwarf fellow who can kind of slink around in the shadows. So if we want to just kind of rush forward, I'm fine leading. But if you want to sneak ahead,
no, I'm taller than you. I'll just block your vision. Have at it.
All right. So yeah, as you guys start.
All right, I draw my long sword and start just sort of stalking forward.
As you start moving up the tunnel, it's that same. It's not rough. There's a layer of sand on the bottom. The walls are kind of sloping around into about 7 foot high. It's a little bit variable. 7 to 8 foot high. Not chiseled.
Very
though.
organic.
Yeah, not chiseled looking. It's somewhat smooth and rounded, but the floor has been trod on, and there's some sediment going through there. And as you keep moving up through the tunnel, after a few minutes, you get up ahead enough, and you can start seeing a very faint light starting to come up ahead in the distance. And as you walk up the rest of this, you get to the peak of the pathway, and where it levels out at this top area, you now see the tunnel splits left, more or less on a flat surface, goes to the right, more or less on a flat surface, and then continues straight ahead, more or less flat. And you can see a fair amount of light coming in at this point, straight ahead. And make a perception check. Why don't you guys make a perception check?
All right, what am I rolling?
Yeah.
D20?
You know what? Yeah.
14 for me.
Uh-oh. Zachary's.
I'm going to get the glasses. 13. 13.
Okay. Yeah, you both
13.
hear coming in at about the same volume. You can all hear now this just kind of constant rumble, faint rumble, just like a. Just kind of faintly echoing, coming from ahead. Yeah, it's not. It's a little hard to figure out what it is precisely. It's just kind of this.
Do you suppose that's the waterfall? Is that what it sounds like to you guys?
That sounds like a good answer.
Could be. I mean, you remember coming in at White Fork, though, right? I mean, that's where I was coming towards White Fork. You said that's where your friend lives, right, Dakram? Right.
Yeah. I heard something about Galen Falls from that halfling fellow as well, but yeah, I was coming to or from White Fork, so something like that.
Galen Falls isn't too far from White Fork. They're less than about a day's travel, something like that. Up the other split in the river, so.
Well, the boys will certainly cover our stumbling and fumbling.
There's that for certain.
That's a good point, yeah. What do you think? Should we keep going forward then?
This should be our first choice, probably. At least we can investigate a little more safety.
Let's see what's ahead. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So you guys progress further ahead. It's about another 5 minutes of walk.
I'll just kind of make a little slash along the wall with my longsword, just kind of like an X, just to kind of mark our pace if we need to backtrack.
Okay. Yeah, you guys start progressing. Jasper's got his staff that you know he uses as a bow next to him, walking along, and he's kind of just nervously pulling at the string with an arrow knocked on it, just kind of looking around. You guys start walking down this long hallway, and after a few minutes you can start feeling a cool moisture. And this whole time you guys have been walking, it's been very cold, and you know, as you were putting on your gear and stuff, you're kind of noticing the coats that you had on were a little bit heavier than normal, well insulated, that sort of thing. The socks were quite thick and fluffy, and as you start walking around and you notice this extra moisture in there, you start seeing where it's on the walls, it's actually frozen to the sides of this tunnel. So the moisture that's coming in through here is just freezing on the sides, and the light continues to get brighter and brighter as you guys progress more or less on a level. And as you get closer now, you can see just a brilliant sunrise coming through, and a small hole exiting, and up ahead there is a veil of water covering this hole. Yes.
I was going to say, if they were going to lay a trap for intruders, this would be the place to do it. Before, if we progress, we need to start searching the floors and perhaps the cavern walls at this point.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try and keep an eye open. Yes, just not very familiar with traps, that sort of thing, but I'll keep an eye open.
Me neither. What kind of dwarf are you?
Oh, I'm just a gnome. I'm a little gnome. I spent most of my time in the forest.
I take it back.
I like bugs. I just want to play with my bugs. Yeah, you guys walk along and you come up to this opening in the side, and you can look out, and there's a very small ledge as you peek through, and there's a lot of mist and moisture coming through, but it's again getting frozen to the sides here, and it's frozen on the ground, and it's a little slippery, but keeping your footing carefully, you can kind of walk out to the edge, and you can see projecting out about 20 feet the waterfall cascading down in front of you, and hundreds of feet down to the lake below, stone sheer sides descending hundreds of feet down, and ice just kind of frozen all over the edges here, and just a brilliant scintillating red and vibrant sunlight coming through the waterfall here. You get the sense that you're either looking due east into a sunrise or due west into a sunset, so you can make a history check to see if you know which way the falls point. But
would that be nature?
Yeah, sure.
I guess, actually, never mind. It's the same either way for me, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'll do that, though. 14.
14, yeah. So you're familiar. The Galen Falls comes out westward from the mountainside that flows to the west. So it looks like this is peeking into the setting sun. So as it descends to the west, and it appears to shine through this waterfall. It's kind of shining in front of you there.
Is there any sort of steps or trail or anything leading out from behind the waterfall? Or is this just
as you look around, you can see a very narrow ice-covered path, and it might not be so narrow if it weren't coated with ice on it, but it is apparently a very narrow path leading along the edge out of this aperture.
I opt to look for another exit.
That's fine with me. At least we know that this is kind of the way out to the actual falls. But we can definitely see if this can be like a second, like a last resort, I guess. Because, that ice doesn't look very good. Is it winter time right now?
Judging by the cold and the ice and some of the gear that you have, you would guess, this is either, early winter or something like that. You recall coming into, I don't know what kind of months of the year we want to use, we'll say, but you guys were coming into or arriving in Westfall in early December, say.
Or Yule, or however you want to say it. Solstice or Yule, or...
Yep. Yeah, kind of. You're heading in there kind of early December, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All
well,
right.
we go to...
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so yeah, we have this path marked back there at the fork, so we know how to get out for now. Do we want to backtrack and see what other ways there are around here?
Yeah. Yes, that doesn't look terribly safe way to traverse, does it?
I can imagine them bringing us up that way.
It seems awfully.
I didn't meet anybody capable of that.
I would hesitate to try it myself, actually. Although it does make me wonder. Again, it reminds me of apparently that we planned for this somehow. I think we should try another path first. But those parachutes I told you about that went onto the back there. If we were thinking we might have to scale cliffs or something like that, that seems like the kind of thing I might have tried to prepare in case one of us were falling or something like that. I don't know. It is strange. It must have been part of our planning process anyway.
I just have a weird visual of them trying to get us up in a
unconscious. Yes.
Up that unconscious into ice slope.
It doesn't seem
up an ice slope behind a waterfall.
Yes, it doesn't seem
no.
likely. I think yes, I agree. There's got to be another way, which is good because
let's make this the last resort. If we have to run out here and depend on those parachute things, then I'm fine with that. But let's definitely look for a different way if possible.
I agree. Yeah, they're not like 100% efficient. I just feel like
I'm not 100% about the ice bath either. So.
Exactly. So I mean, they work most of the time, But I'm just saying, if I'd rather
You better let me do sales, Snotty.
It always works when I do it, and he like gestures at his vest here, and he's like, but mine's a bit different. I've got these two handles here on the side, and when I want to do it, I just pull them outward. And I get like a little bit of like, you ever seen a flying squirrel with the webbing there?
Hey.
It's a bit like that. So that helps me glide. And but I was trying to figure out something I could help others with, and I came up with that. It just doesn't work 100% of the time. So
But we'd only be mostly dead each day.
Right, exactly. So if there's a safer route, I'd hate for it all to come to rest on something that doesn't always work.
I don't know if I trust my harmonica or my heart.
I'm sorry, what was that, Akron? What'd you say?
We'll definitely make this our very last resort then.
Just, as a matter of course, I'd say. That's probably the safe bet. Very well. Well, in that case, which way are we headed, left or right? If this is looking westward, then left would take us to the north, and right would take us southward.
I think White Fork is to the south, right?
White Fork and the city of Galen Falls are both basically due west of the waterfall. They are more or less in a due west direction.
Well, in that case, I guess it just kind of depends on if there's another entrance to the mountain. Because I don't really know one way over another, so...
One suggestion. Well, I was going to suggest lighting a candle or a lantern, but with the waterfall, there's probably a breeze rushing down the passage anyway. So we'd have to get away from the waterfall before that would mean anything.
Right.
Like we'd have to go one way or the other. It would show the draw of the wind with the cave, for lack of a better word, passage.
Actually, if we can't, I mean, Chester must have come in one of these ways. Maybe we could check the intersection for where it came from. see if we can discern which direction Jasper came from. He obviously made his way in here somehow. Maybe he scaled the side of the waterfall. I don't know. Are either of you?
Would you like us to search for marks?
Yeah, yes. Let's all. I mean, let's take a look at the intersection. See if we can find some tracks. Maybe there's some way to see how he came in.
Sounds like a plan to me.
You could actually do it. Whoever wants to take point on that check can do it with advantage because the rest of the group is helping. So if you take,
you get it. Survival, Argus.
Nope. I'm
not
good at finding the pub and the best beer.
I'll give it a try then.
Right.
Survival check, right?
Advantage.
Ooh, yeah. 21.
Okay. So yeah, as you're looking around, you can see the tracks of these heavy-booted figures that extend to the north and to the south and eastward down back where you guys came from. The path to the waterfall actually seems the least traversed, like it's not used very regularly. And as you're searching through these heavy booted tracks off to the side of it, you see the very, very faint marks of an unbooted foot that matches the size and shape of a halfling that you've seen recently. Coming down.
Where are they
coming from the north and then turning down to the descending eastward. It seems like Chester came from the north.
Looks like our little halfling friend came from the north, and if he came in here to help save us, then my bet's on the north path.
That seems like that makes sense to me.
Makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go north.
Okay. So you guys keep moving your way northward through the tunnel. It is going faintly uphill. It seems mostly level, and then occasionally jog uphill a little bit, and it continues for about 10 minutes, and then far off now in the distance you can see the opening of this tunnel as it seems to be a faint glimmer of light coming through now in the setting sun. You can see up ahead a faint opening. You guys want to just head out, or?
Again, same policy. We should at least attempt to try, even if we're not proficient, we should at least try to, for any buggering.
Try to what?
Should I say buggering?
I kind of cut out there. You should at least try to what?
Check for traps?
Oh, check for traps. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead and, are you going to move all the way to the exit, or just kind of check the path as you walk?
Yeah, maybe just kind of slowly walk towards it, looking around.
All right, so go ahead and make a perception check. Are you going to take that, or who wants to take that? You can each roll separately, or one can.
Go ahead, I guess.
Okay. What do I use for advantage? Sorry.
You just roll the no problem. You just roll the d20 2 times, and you use the better result, and then add your modifiers.
I got you.
That.
17.
That's what I'm saying. 5th edition.
Advantage and disadvantage.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier than plus
17,
2.
and then I rolled a 1.
Okay.
So I'll go with 17.
Good choice. You can add your perception to that.
Perception.
That should get you.
What my perception is. Sorry.
That's all right. It's your wisdom modifier, and then I don't know if you took perception as your proficiency.
Okay. I haven't worked out my proficiencies yet. Sorry.
So what's your wisdom modifier?
But no, I don't have a modifier. It's a straight 17.
Okay. So yeah, 17. That's fine. As you're walking along, no apparent traps, and you guys continue just kind of scooching along. Jasper's taking his staff and like waving it in front of him for tripwires, because that's how he thinks traps work. Just kind of like. And as you guys approach the exit, you're actually only about 10-15 feet away when you see another tunnel open to the right in front of you, and up ahead at the mouth of the tunnel, you see 2 figures on either side of it. On either side of the mouth of the exit. So there's a small room to your right, it looks like, as you look kind of briefly into it. It looks like a small room to your right as you're going out of the tunnel, and then straight ahead, the opening with the faint daylight coming through, and 2 figures silhouetted in the doorway.
Are they facing away from us or towards us?
Kind of 3/4 facing out.
Well, here are some gentlemen who can give us some answers. I start walking towards them.
A moment. Are you holding anything in their hands?
They appear to have their hands like kind of tucked into their belts, sort of. Yeah, they're kind of like, like that.
I gently place my hand on his shoulder. Wait, laddie, what are they wearing or what are they holding?
Yeah, you can see it looks like they're wearing...
Have their hands in their pockets?
Kind of like on their belt, sort of, like kind of like, tucked in. One seems to have his like on a jacket, kind of suspender kind of thing.
Weapon hilt.
Weapon hilt. You do see a weapon hilt like kind of tucked under one guy's arm. It looks like he's holding like his hands kind of like draped over like a sword hilt, like under his arm. He's got it like draped over the top of it. And the other one's like off to the side here. The other guy's got his like hands tucked into his belt. Looks like he's got a sword on his sheath there.
For what our characters are seeing.
What was that? Oh no, did we lose Scott?
I'm wondering what the terrain's like in front of them. Because my first thought is just to give these guys the bum rush off the side of the cliff.
Yeah.
If there's an opportunity.
It's a little...
Oh yeah, can we tell from here?
A little hard to see. It's mostly just...
Or I should say that's Hargus's thinking.
Yeah. Of course Hargus.
And that's basically what that's why I need to know, what do we see past them?
Is it... Now, Scott, I keep hearing both things. How do you spell Argus's name? Is it Argus or Hargus or Harkus? How do you spell his name? Your character, Scott. How do you spell his name?
No, I think... Go ahead.
I was just wondering how you spell his name. I don't have...
Hargus. Hargus.
Okay.
Hargus.
Got it. Okay. I wasn't sure if I was
that
imagining
is,
that H
that's
or not.
Yeah, Hargus.
Okay, great. Good deal.
That's the coming across on the ship. Tell you what.
Oh no. You keep cutting out, man.
I kind of think we should back off and maybe discuss our strategy here, because I'm thinking mayhem and murder myself.
I'm not afraid of them. It looks like we outnumber them, 3-2.
There's a noisily always advantage to cheating, my lad. Maybe we should back off and discuss it. In other words,
whatever plan you have, I think we could take them. I mean, and
we'd definitely be at the advantage, shoving them in the back with the backside.
Yeah, and Brentbreck is still with you guys, so he.
They've got swords. We've got magic and swords.
Who knows magic?
So
you see, Jasper around and goes, "Wait, who knows magic? Which one of you knows magic?"
I point the hilt of my sword at Hargus. He can tell a joke so funny that it can make anyone laugh, apparently.
You see Jasper, like, really interested. He's like, was that...
I've often been laughed at with my pants down.
Was that magic? Was that what that was, Argus? That was real magic.
Oh, it's more my pants down, I would think.
I mean, honestly, I thought I thought it was a bit odd with the feather and the dessert. Wow, all right.
I have picked up a few things over the years.
My family does like lots of building magical devices, but it's very very boring. They just sit there and craft endless little robots and scribe little spells onto things. It just takes forever. Anyway, this is probably not the time for that. All right, what are we doing here?
All right.
I say we just go right up and rough them up.
If we surprise them and say, give them a shove in the middle of the back or in the back side, then we automatically have.
You can get a surprise round.
Our apparent backstabber has definitely got the advantage in putting one down.
Yep.
And our
Breck would be like, let me at him. I can get a sneak attack round. Come on. I just know it.
I haven't found it yet, but I was thinking to take the. I think a bar fight would be a more appropriate skill for a bard. So he's all about the ambush and the bushwhack. So.
All right, so you guys want to just try and do a sneak attack on these guys and hopefully get them before they can do anything?
I say yes. I have a.
Let's get one of them and then save the other for questioning.
All right.
Oh.
Coordinated attack here.
Probably be good. I'm looking up my spell. I mean, if I had a spell.
Yeah. Jasper, you see, take his bow out and gets that arrow. He's drawn. He's getting ready to fire an arrow.
Okay.
I got my longsword out.
I'm going to go. I can charm one of them. Probably do some persuasion, but that would negate us bushwhacking them. So I'm just.
I don't think we need mad to make him talk.
I'm just going to get my companion out and have her ready.
Should we all focus on one or the other, or just split our attacks between them?
I say we divide up and see which ones are lucky enough to survive it.
Okay.
Why don't you guys focus on shooting maybe the one on the right, and I'll go up and grab the one on the left so he can't run away.
All right, can do. Okay, so basically the three, Jasper, Hargus, and Brandbreck can coordinate their attacks and just go, all right, 1, 2, 3, shoot. And you can start stealthing up at whatever point on that. Do you want to stealth up as they're getting ready to fire? You want to get a little bit ahead?
Yeah, I'll definitely go on ahead so that I can rush up right as they shoot and have enough time to grab one of the guys. So
you just make a stealth check to do that. Everyone's going to get ready to fire as you're about halfway up, say.
8.
Yeah, so you're like walking up, kind of a little bit of ice on the ground. It's crackling under your feet. And when you get to the...
I'm a little impatient too, so I'm not... Yeah. I'm getting pretty angry at these guys ready to fight, so I'm not focusing too much on...
You got your sword ready there. And as you get to the agreed upon distance from them, everyone takes their shots. Jasper fires off an arrow. Brandbreck shoots out a couple daggers at him. And what do you got, Hargus? You going to go for your...
I'm going to throw the disc.
Okay, all right. Yeah. They all go flying and just impact the bodies. And you see them on the wall there. You see so one's got an arrow sticking out of it. It's kind of just laying there. It doesn't really move. And you're kind of puzzled as this happens, I imagine, Dacron. But there's no apparent response to this guy getting hit with an arrow, a disc sticking out of his neck, and 2 daggers buried into his side, just kind of still there up against the wall.
Okay, so I rush up. Can I tell more, like, who they are at this point?
Are they... Start looking at them. They look very similar to the guy who came in last with the longsword, dressed similarly, studded leather armor, long sword. He's got a sword on the side. Except this guy has a giant gash across his throat. And then the guy on the other side, you see him propped up against a wooden post that's there on the side. He's got the sword stabbed under his arm, like into the post, and he's hung on it. And you can see he's just like propped up on it. And he's got stab wounds all over him. And he's like there's blood on the sword that's in there. And you can see it looks like some sort of altercation occurred here before you guys arrived.
I think this is our friends.
Guys,
Our
we
friend
already
coming in to
won.
save us. Are you sure we shouldn't go back and get his corpse? I feel like we're disrespecting him now.
Well, I don't know that we could. I mean, we could try. It's up to you guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what
I
the
hate
plan
to
is.
leave him here. I'm getting more and more affectionate on this little fellow by the moment. He definitely had some style, whoever he was.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of inspect the bodies a little bit, see if I can figure anything out about their death. I don't
Do an
know.
investigation.
Anything
And
interesting?
you can see, looking ahead now, as you're at the mouth of this tunnel, it descends down through a rocky path along a descending mountainside, just big outcrops of bare rock. There's snow piled up on top of these things, but this path that kind of winds between rounded boulders that are just weathered out of the mountainside, popping up all around, big outcrops of rock. This path winds its way down to a lower portion of the kind of the valley ahead. It looks like the large step of that flat top mountain that forms Galen Falls, is descending to the north here, and the path continues to the north that way. What'd you get on your investigation?
8.
8. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of identifying marks on them. Again, there's no religious symbology. They're clad in utilitarian gear, basic weaponry. It's not exotic or fancy. It's functional only. Yeah.
While he's doing that, I'm collecting my disc and scanning the wood line. The horizon.
Yeah.
Just covering him.
You can see now the path descends into the forest. There, the sun is approaching the western horizon now. It's about to descend beyond the trees that go out in the distance. From this vantage point, you're looking down to the western valley beyond where the town of Galen Falls resides. This particular waterfall is on the outskirts of the mountains to the west, so you know that basically if you continue down this northern path, you'll get off the tabletop of Galen Falls, and you can maybe try and work your way westward to the town after that.
While I was searching, while he's searching, I'm going to ask him to check his mouth and nose and eyes. In other words, like, tell me if there's anything unusual, if he wants to do it, or I'll do it if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, you both kind of pull the body down and start looking over it. There's nothing odd about the mouth and nose and eyes, but as you're doing the checks and looking around, there's that same scar on the back of the neck that you guys are familiar with.
You want to try to cut it open again, as long as we've got a clear path? I think we have time if you want to try to cut it open again. I'll do one, you do the other.
Yep, certainly. Jasper will pull out a dagger and walk up to him and just kind of clear the hair aside. Why don't you do a survival or medicine?
Yeah, let's see here. Need a new 20. Those failed me. 15. I don't think any of my modifiers
Go
apply.
ahead and do it with advantage. Jasper will help you out. So.
Okay. Let's see. But as opposed to Jasper's habit, I'm going to take it more gently, like I'm skinning a cat instead of stabbing a bear.
All right.
That was pretty good. We're frozen.
Yeah, a little froze. Oh no, Scott. Is he back? Oh no, he's really froze.
Is it me or y'all?
I think I'm okay.
Okay, now you're
yeah,
back.
there you go. You're back.
Oh, we're back.
Sorry, I think it might be you.
The only difference in if it gives me an advantage, as opposed, I'm going to approach it more like skinning a cat than his method of stabbing
Yeah.
a bear.
Go,
That was too good not to repeat.
go ahead and
So,
roll another one with advantage, just for.
While they're doing that, I'm going to
16.
kind of stealthily, so they're not like wait till
16.
they're not looking at me, and I'm going to use Eldritch Sight.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, they're all.
So my eyes
They're all
kind
pretty
of
focused.
go red, and I cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Detect magic. They're.
I sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of me. If I sense magic in this way, I can see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in that area that bears magic, and learn its school of magic.
Girl.
Okay. I don't know how that. What do you think an arcane focus would show up as? I mean, just a basic arcane focus, because like theoretically, I don't know if. What do you think? Would Scott's musical instruments show up as? I mean, they're a bard focus for magic, but would they show like that latent sort of?
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of a small.
Like maybe. I mean, it's up to you, honestly. Whatever.
Yeah. So you
whatever
notice a very faint magical presence on Hargus's. He's got this harp kind of slung over his shoulder, easily accessible for a quick draw situation, and then there's a very faint glow on in his like breast pocket, small rectangular breast pocket. There's faint glow from the health potions that you guys have that are faintly magical, and
any glow on the scars?
No, they are not magical. And then in all fairness, there's a faint glow also on Jasper's walking staff, his that he uses for the bow.
Suspect as much. All right, I'll drop that.
Yeah, but other than that, nothing really coming through.
Okay.
And yeah, so
I think he rolled a.
Yeah, so as you're going through, you can kind of peel that open and start looking along the spine and up into the base of the brain. Why don't you just make a perception check?
Let's try a fresh dice for this. It's green. It must be lucky. And it wasn't. I rolled a 7.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of blood. You see some bones and some ligaments and that kind of thing. But yeah, it looks like the inside of someone's neck.
I'm no vivisectionist.
You want to check the other one
Okay.
out too? Same kind of things. There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, check the next one out then.
Give it a try. Make it rattle. Oh, 19.
Okay, yeah.
It worked.
As you're looking at this, you can see like maybe a faint, like a ligament that between the ligaments, or kind of another sheen on maybe the spine of the bone. Just this faint. It looks almost like packing tape or something, or a thin ribbon, just kind of like in between the folds of musculature and around some of the spine.
Is there any, I don't know, in the old Bard you could access lore to a greater or lesser amount. Do I have that ability?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far yet, sorry.
More, you get better at it as time goes on, but you can, I just say just do an investigation to see what you can kind of...
Okay. Like, I know out of character what it reminds me of is that yellow vine zombie or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I rolled terrible.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, you're kind of getting there with a dagger and you kind of like picking at it a little bit and it just kind of cuts through easily. There's no strong resistance. It doesn't. There's not a lot to tell. It's hard to see what it is. It's just like maybe something that's on top of the bone and musculature, in between certain areas. It's a lot to see.
Something
Seems like something's
invasive
there,
is
yeah.
coming in there. But that's nothing to
Yeah,
go on, and not very hard to prove. So
Brandbreck brandishes the head that he chopped off earlier, and he's like, "We're gonna look at this later." Do you want another one?
no, I'm good, lad. Thank you.
We can always.
I've got to work on my accent.
Well, it doesn't look like we're going to learn anything by just picking these things apart. We need to find somebody and give them a good old-fashioned interrogation. Somebody who's alive, that is. And I kind of kick one of their dead bodies. What's this room over here? I'm going to go look over at that other room that branched off.
I'll watch the hall.
You go into that room and look around. There's a very basic cot there. Small wash bin, some water, some food, and a crate, that kind of stuff. It's a very basic supply room that might be used for sleeping during times. There's a potbelly stove kind of situation in the corner to heat up some water and that sort of thing. It's a very, very basic living arrangement.
You excited?
I'll turn on my Eldritch sight just briefly and kind of scan the room a little bit, see if I see anything magical. Looks like it's just a bedroom of some kind, maybe the guard's quarters or something.
Yeah, it seems like 100, crappy guard outposts that you've seen over your time in the military. Very, very basic.
Yeah, I know a barrack when I see one.
Do an insight check for that. Do an insight check as you're thinking about all the other ones you've seen over the years.
8.
Yeah, there's something weird about it. Something that's off about the room as you're thinking about all the junky military outposts and temporary bases and things like that you've seen over the years. Just all the soldier places as you're looking around the room. It's got something off about it, but you're just not quite picking up why.
All right, I was like about to leave, but then I kind of look around again, and then I go back in, and I'm just gonna kind of poke around a little bit, maybe look inside the crates.
Yeah. So you open it up.
See if I can.
There's some basic food.
Tickling the back of my brain.
Basic food supplies, just some salted meat, some vegetables, that kind of stuff. Very basic food. The bedding is there on the bed. It looks like just a single set of blankets on the bed. There's not much in the way of like changes of clothes or anything in there. There's just not a lot in here. Just very, very bare bones.
Well, guess we know where to come back if we need supplies. So, what do we want to do now? It looks like it's pushing nightfall, so we're gonna have to stay the night here anyway. Should we go back and keep kind of exploring this place, sort of mapping it out a little bit? I really want to find somebody that can answer our questions. In the meantime, maybe we could find, see if there's anybody else we could help.
I suppose there's the additional tunnel south.
Nightfall. Do we need to find a secure place? I mean,
Scott. Did we lose him again? I think so. No.
Yeah, looks like we did.
Gotta get that.
Can you hear us, Scott?
Hey. Oh.
Okay.
No. Yay.
I'm here.
All right.
Oh,
back,
are we back?
I think partially, kind of back.
Kind of back.
For now.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Now you're back. All right. Yeah.
Are you there?
Can you hear us?
It's freezing up. Is it me or is it y'all? I see
think,
you blink. Okay.
yeah,
Now you're
we
back.
can hear you now. I think it might be you because both of us
Of
are
course, I
seeing.
got 5 smartphones, boxes, smart TVs.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's the lag.
So we could come back here and rest. It looks like an easy enough place to sort of, keep barricaded or whatever, keep watch. Got some supplies here, so we could come back here later if we need a rest.
Yes. Is there a door on this room?
Yes, there is. Yeah, there
Good
is.
question.
Well, that's good. So we can
And it's right
the
by
door
the
if we
way
really want to. Yeah, so I'm game.
So-
If you want to explore, let's explore. We all have lanterns, and there seems to be lighting available
Yeah.
if we need it.
You want to head back down to the southern route, or do you want to go back to the east and descend back to where you came from?
I'll vote south first.
South route?
Yeah, let's go south first and leave the pod area for last if we have to.
Agreed.
All right.
So yeah, let's go back to that junction and keep going.
So yeah, you head.
What's up?
No,
Go ahead.
What was your question?
What's our inventory of healing potions? I have 1 healing spell, and 2 spells to use for the day, 1 healing spell to memorize, and when I redid my character and I figured out how to get my money, I bought a healing potion.
Okay.
Do we have anything else?
Jasper had said he prepared. Looks like he made a couple and given them to.
Yeah, I think I have one.
Brandbrick.
I drank one and I have another one.
So we're
yeah,
set up pretty good, and I'm at full health.
Yep.
So, and I think everybody else pretty much is. So
I think we're fine.
Okay,
All right.
well, let's do this.
So you make your way
All right.
to the southern tunnel this time. Okay. Yeah, so you kind of
Yep.
push your way past that exit and keep moving along. And
Gosh, dog.
it's about you kind of hustle along a little bit faster this time, and you get there in about 15 minutes. And up ahead, you can see again now the even fainter glow of what's left of daylight now, glimmering through the southern exit. And who's taking point? They can make a perception check, or you two can both make perception checks since you're looking with your own eyes.
5.
Okay.
6.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of adjusting to the light. You squint up ahead as it's faint though it is. You came through a very, very dark tunnel to get here, and you can't really see anything clearly up ahead.
Sorry, the dogs need attention.
But yeah, as you get closer and you're still looking around, it I guess make a stealth check if you're trying to be stealthy, or you can just kind of approach.
I don't think Dacron's being stealthy anymore. He's getting impatient here, so I'm just gonna go forward.
I feel like I'm putting forth an effort to be stealthy.
Dacron kind of is just sick of things. And he's charging up, and as that happens, let's see here. What's your AC, Dacron? 13. Okay,
13.
so that is going to be a hit for 4 points of piercing damage as you approach and a crossbow fires out and hits you in the leg from the opening, and you can see now on the other side of that a figure crouched by the opening, just outside of it, pointing inward, and he's fired a crossbow at you and hit you. So
I'm gonna charge him.
this will probably be a good time for some initiative.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Dang it. 5.
12.
Alright, Okay. As you start charging up ahead, you can see him loading another bolt into this, and he's gonna reach up and take another shot at you as you're running, Dakron. Okay, that's plus. So got a 14. Okay.
Hit.
And another 5 points of piercing damage.
Dang, he's able to get that move.
My eyes flash red again, and I point at him. And I'm like, "You shouldn't have done that!" And flames burst out at him. So he needs to make a dex save.
That's plus. So he gets a 10.
That's just what he needed. So he takes 4 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Manages to dodge out of the way a little bit, but
Scream a little bit on the other side of the flare of fire. And yeah, he's loading up again. But Hargis, you are sprinting up ahead. What are you up to next? You're kind of there in the hallway, Hargis, and you can see this figure silhouetted on the doorway. Uh-oh. Oh no. He's silent. Silent as the grave. I think we lost you, Scott. I can see you. I just can't hear you.
before we could not see you but hear you, and now we can't hear you but we can see you. Dang technical difficulties.
Oh no. Scott. All right, why don't you? Hey, Scott, are you back? No, you're muted. I can see you move, but you're muted. Nothing. No, Scott. No.
I wonder if we should maybe disconnect and reconnect.
Hey, you're back.
No?
Now you're gone. You were there for a second, Scott. Hey, now you're back.
And I'm not there?
There.
Woo.
Now we can hear you.
I hate to disconnect.
All right, so you can see this guy kind of silhouetted in the door frame in front of you there. What would you like to do, Scott?
I'm going to throw the disc. I think that's the fastest aid I can give him to keep him from picking up another shot. What is he?
A crossbow.
Well, dang. Good. I got a 16 and a 12.
Okay, yeah.
With my,
Are you attacking twice, or were you attacking with advantage?
well, the discs normally have you can do 2 discs like a bow, but they do 1 to 2 points of damage. They're really more of a distraction than anything else.
You can do an offhand attack with it. It'll just be so. We'll say the first one hits, and yeah.
I'll just do 1. I don't want to convenience you. However you want to do it. I'm doing something quirky,
Well,
so I understand.
we'll say the 16 hits and the second one doesn't. So you said it was roll a d4.
It's 2 points of damage.
All right, yeah, it flings through and it kind of just shears over his shoulder, and he kind of grunts as he's there loading up. And as you guys are approaching now, you can see there's that other room off to the side. On this side as well, there's one to the left up ahead near the door. And Dakron, you are up.
Okay, is he within range? Can I go up and... Is he close enough to me now?
You'd have to use your movement to get up there, but yeah. If you finish running up there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna rush up and just try and grab his crossbow, stop him from firing.
Yeah.
That'll be my action. And I'll just... You really don't want to make enemies of us, friend, and just try and stop him from shooting it, basically.
Wrench the crossbow out of his hand. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll do a contested athletics for that. He's gonna try and hold on to his crossbow. Dang
it! I am rolling so bad tonight.
8.
I got an 8.
You kind of grab onto it, and you're just holding on to the curved part of the front of the crossbow, and he's managing to, like, with both hands hold it, and as you're threatening him, and he's got this burnt part of his face looking up at you, he's just got this, like, kind of look to him, just staring at you.
Now that I'm closer, does he look like one of the other guards that we've seen so far?
Yeah,
same
yeah,
attire.
He's got the same kind of gear. This guy's got a short brown beard, brown eyes. They're varying facial features and that sort of thing. But they've all been human so far. But that's about all. And yeah, similarly geared.
Okay.
All right.
That's my turn.
Let's see. As you guys are there, peeking out of this doorway now, you see a second figure, and he's gonna take a shot at you, Argus. That's 14 to hit.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what your AC is.
Oh, I'm looking.
Right.
It's 15.
So yeah, he fires it off, and you manage to just barely dodge out of the way, and a little bit of it glances off your armor. This bolt just barely shaves off the leather portion and hits the wall there, and he's looking at you, just scowling at you. But he's peeking out of the door kind of across from you.
I'm going to rush to engage. The discs are ineffectual, not really affecting his shooting. So as I'm rushing, I'll draw my sword, be ready to engage.
Jasper's going to... You're kind of engaged with that guy up front, so he's going to kind of pivot around and just draw an arrow and try and fire at this guy peeking out of the doorway. Let's see if he gets a... actually, I think he finally hit, so that's a +4. So 14. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he hits with that, and he does 3 points of damage. So yeah, he fires off this arrow, and you can see as he fires, the arrow flies ahead, and it just kind of like bursts into flame at the tip of it, and just a little mote of fire just kind of impacts the guy's shoulder, and he takes a hit. And that'll be back to the top with the guy engaged with you. He's going to have to make this attack with disadvantage since you're currently grappling his crossbow. You haven't managed to pull it away from him, but he is in melee range with you, so he's going to... Alright, 7, so not going to hit. So yeah, you're managing to pull the crossbow to the side, and it just fires off into the dirt. And yeah, he's looking at you, and he is still holding it, but he's going to kind of push it away and draws a blade. He's facing off with this blade against you now. All right, Hargus, you're going to rush at this guy coming out of the door?
I'm going to rush at the guy. Now, yeah, well, I think I'm trying to think of too much finesse here. But, yeah, I'm just going to rush at him and point first.
Okay.
Try to lance him.
Roll an attack. D20 plus dex plus your modifier.
12. That was my total.
Right, well, yeah, as you're firing, like going to do that, trying to thrust with your rapier, he managed to just barely push it aside with the body of the crossbow, and it kind of slides off, into the wall, and he's kind of jostles backwards and repositions himself, but you're kind of both inside the room now. All right, Dakron. This guy's kind of pushed you off and dropped the crossbow and has drawn a short sword that he's kind of facing you with.
All right, I throw the crossbow to the ground, and then I draw my long sword. And I'm going to... Okay, I'm going to hit him with my long sword. Come on, better rolls. Oh, natural 1. My shoulder gives out, and I just wince long enough to lose the...
cramps up on you. You kind of go, And as you're doing it, it kind of glances off the stone. Why don't you make a check to see if you can hold on to your sword, or if you drop it, just do a basic, say, strength check, just to hold on to it as it ting hits this hard bedrock. 15. Okay,
15.
It bounces off the stone, and you feel that vibration up your arm, and it hurts like the dickens, but you manage to hold on to it. And you're kind of off to the side now. And he kind of looks at you and his snarls, just staring at you. He doesn't say anything. He's just like, and he's kind of growling at you. All right, now the guy in the room with you, Hargus, is going to come at you with his short sword. And he's got a 12 plus 2, so 14 again. And no, that 14 doesn't hit you, does it?
Dead.
No. All right.
No. 15.
Right, yeah, he lunges and it glances off your armor. And yeah, he just sits there like snarling at you. Jasper's gonna duck into the room and attack. 10 plus. So 14. Oh, okay, yeah, that'll hit. And he fires another fire arrow at this guy. Does another. Yeah, fires this one, and this one hits him kind of in the shoulder, and there's a flare of fire there, and he hits the wall and just is like, all right, guy going up against you now. See if he hits you with his short sword. Dakron, that is 12 to hit.
Miss.
All right.
Barely.
Yes, he lunges at you, takes a swipe, and you manage to just deflect at the last second. Hargus, you're up again.
I'm going to attempt to charm the guy. We'll just see how it works. And so I'm going to basically be playing defense while I'm attempting to charm him. I believe I can do that while using my longsword because it's all talk.
Yeah. Charm
Correct?
Person's a verbal only spell, so you are aware that it's a little more difficult to charm people when they are in combat with you. They have advantage on saves, just so you're aware. So you can still more than welcome to try, just so you're aware how that mechanic works in 5th edition. You still go for it?
Let's just fight this.
Just fight? Okay.
We're just going to fight.
All right. Go for it.
Well, use the sword for my persuasion.
8.
There you go.
Modifier.
11.
11
so you
altogether.
lunge at him, and he manages to parry it to the side, and it hits the wall behind him, and he just stands, snarls at you. It is his turn now. He's going to try and stab you. Oh, yeah. 17.
Well, I'm going to retire this stuff.
17 to hit. So he's going to get that D6. So 4 points of damage. He kind of takes a slash at you, and it just glances off your shoulder there. And let's see. Let's see if Jasper can pop this guy. Yeah. Yes.
There's
correct.
2 guys,
They're
correct?
kind of off in a similar side room, taking care of these ones, and you're taking the guy up front. And that will hit, and that will drop him, actually. So yeah, Jasper fires off one more arrow, and it just into this guy's throat, and he slumps against the wall. And that brings us to the top of the round with your guy facing off against you, Dakron. He's going to do one more swipe with the sword. That is still 10. So I don't think that hits. Okay.
Miss.
It's your turn, Hargus. Your guy's donezo.
I don't think I got a turn last round.
All right, well, take your turn now then. He just swung at you. You take a retaliatory turn.
Okay, yeah, my eyes flash red for a moment, and I slash with my longsword again. Oh my gosh, another natural 1.
Oh.
need to test these dice out to see if there's something wrong.
I think your DC went up on your strength check to hold on to your sword, though.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'll roll that again.
13.
13.
Yeah, it's hurting real bad, but you're still managing to grasp onto it. Now you can feel the shivers running up your arm, and it's just not your day. Maybe it's the cold, just working on those old war wounds, you know, just aching.
I'm gonna just like grit through my teeth and just be like, I could really use some help out here, you guys. Oh.
All right, Hargus, you're up.
Well, I've yet to hit
So
the guy. Let's
in your
see
room,
what happens here.
He's down. So, yeah.
Oh, well, of course, I immediately turn to the aid of my companion.
Yeah, so you're gonna.
So, that would probably be action then.
It sounds like that roll wasn't any good anyway, so. Okay.
No, it wasn't. No.
All right, so you start making your way up to help.
That would be 10.
All right. That's his turn. He's dead. And it's okay. All right, so Dakron, this will be your second round up here. You didn't drop because we skipped you last time, so this is your actual initiative turn. So we'll say, yeah, he's there in front of you. Your arm's hurting, but you haven't dropped your sword. So why don't you go and I suppose you could just throw the sword down and surrender if you think this guy's got your number.
No, I'm going for it again. Just grit my teeth, grin and bear it, and here we go again. 12.
At the last second, he manages to deflect this blow as it's coming in, and it just shears off the bit of shoulder pad armor that he's got there off to the side. Yeah, just misses. Jasper's gonna run up real quick like. It's a little surprising that such little legs can move up to the same position as you, Hargus. You're used to the small folk maybe not moving quite so quick, but he just like a little lightning bolt gets up right next to you. And he's got some extra cover being that you guys are... Let's just hope he doesn't roll a 1. So yeah, as you can see, he's pulling the arrow back, trying not to hit Dakron as they're in, with the line of sight being this little bit of overlap behind each other, and he fires off an arrow and it goes high over your shoulder and misses the fellow ahead of you, Dakron. So it's his turn again. We'll see how he does. 16. Yeah, that'll hit. But it'll only do... No, it's not too... Yeah, 3 points of damage, so not bad. To you, Dakron. 3 points of slashing
what was that?
damage as he gets you again.
All right.
And...
I'm spitting out blood.
Yeah,
Getting
you're soloing this guy. The natural ones are not helping. All right, Argus, you're up.
All right, well, I'm going to attempt to at least distract this guy.
Yeah, you could use the rest of your movement to get up next to him and not... No? Is that another dice in the trash?
I'm right up next to him. Kind of doing this. Hey!
I think you...
I'm tempted to distract him with my voice. You're welcome.
And, and hideous laughter.
I obviously forgot what the sword in my hand is for.
All right, Dakron. This is it. This is your time. He's there snarling ahead of you.
All right.
You're not
glad I could be there.
Take another round with this guy.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah, I'm going one more time. Eyes flash, and here goes with another longsword attack. Whoops, that bounced off the table.
Hey,
okay, 18. All right, so I hit him with my sword, and my eyes flash, and he becomes sheathed in booming energy. I cast Booming Blade as part of that as well. And so he takes. Yes.
Oh no, wait! It's
so that
the
is
normal.
5
It's the normal weapon
slash
damage, and then if he moves, he takes the additional. Okay.
Yeah. So 5 points of slashing
All right,
damage.
that'll do it. You bring your sword down as he's snarling at you, and he tries to block it, but it just kind of force, just the weight of it brings it down, just across the throat, and he drops. And he is down.
Good.
I tell him good job, then I stab him one time myself just to get mine in.
Yes, and you do, and he is definitely dead. Jasper kind of comes running up and he goes, "Well, it looks like we found the south exit. Are you all right, Dacron? You took some major hits there."
I'm about to lay hand. My healing spell. That's my last spell.
Okay.
No, I have one more, but we'll go ahead and do the healing spell. I believe it's,
1d8
know what it
plus
is.
your
I'm looking
charisma
it up.
Modifier.
Oh, you're in luck. You'll at least get 3. Let me see. 1d8. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
that is exactly what I needed.
Oh,
so
nice.
now I'm back up at full.
I'm a distinguished devil.
All right.
I think the reading glasses add to the charm.
I do.
I just take like a deep breath and I'm just like, oh, thanks, Bard. I'm always grateful for healers on the battlefield.
Just be glad it wasn't a holy 2x4.
The holy 2x4 healing.
I don't think there's any reasoning with these guys. They seem almost not human anymore.
No, something's been taken away from them. Definitely, that one guy.
I don't think we're going to
have some personality in spite of it, but the rest of them just seem soulless.
Not much left.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to really plan on getting any information out of them by normal means anyway, so
I don't
looks
think
like we're just going to have to fight our way through.
I don't think there's anything you could do to pull any rationality out of them. They're obviously being controlled somehow.
Yeah, something's going on weird about this place, and it really worries me that we have these scars on our necks. I don't want to end up like them.
Yes, but I haven't felt the need to roll a will check yet,
that.
so perhaps we're okay. Maybe it didn't take.
If that's the case.
Let's check out this room, see if it's got anything interesting in it.
You look through it, very, very similar.
I agree.
Just basic accommodations, a little bit of food, a small stove in the corner. Yeah.
I'll do Eldritch Sight again, just see if there's anything magical.
Yeah, just, again, very basic accommodations. We'll see if you can, why don't you make that insight check one more time as you're looking around this room. You get that similar feeling like that, there's something just not right about it. It just doesn't fit. 10? Yeah, and as you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, there is nothing remarkable about this room. It's so unremarkable. Like, you've never been in a barracks before that didn't have a name scratched into a bedpost, that didn't have a single drawing up on the wall or a sign of some personal item on it. And as you're thinking about it, you're like, yeah, the guys that you've killed so far, the guards, they had no personal ID, they had no memento looking thing, no jewelry, no decoration, and this room is just, it's not sterile because it's not like it's been scrubbed clean in a laboratory sense, but it's empty of personality. It's just utilitarian, basic accommodations. Yeah. This tunnel, it's a higher portion of the mountain. It looks like the the tabletop kind of flat area of the upper plateau is a little bit higher here, so you're a little bit up in elevation relative to the ground, the valley below. And it's a longer drop down to the valley from this point. But yeah, you can see below the heavily wooded forest area kind of that surrounds the lake, which is at the bottom of Galen Falls. That's a great idea. It's a very good idea. I've never tried that before. I do have some tinkering tools that I could lend to you. It's what I use for my inventions and such. Perhaps that would help. All right. I pull into this room here and try and barricade the door for the evening. Okay. All right. Yeah, so you guys get in. You can see the stove from this potbelly, little potbelly stove there. The stovepipe comes up and angles its way out of the door through a small hole in the side of like this wood panel that makes the frame. It just kind of comes out the side there, and so the soot and stuff would mostly go out through that and into the tunnel, the larger tunnel. So you're fairly confident you won't asphyxiate overnight. So you got that working for you. But yeah, you're just in this room, and you can close. And actually, when you close the door, there is a bar on the inside that goes into the stone itself. It looks like it was hollowed out, so you can close that bar. Yeah, you can kind of settle in there. You guys get the stove going, and it warms up relatively quickly. It's a relatively small space. There's a little pile of wood off to the side that you can keep feeding into the potbelly stove there. And yeah, it's not long before you're adjusted to the temperature, and you can take off the heavier coats that you guys had put on to try and keep warm in here, and kind of adjust to this little flat living space as the sun sets on the outside. Not that you can see it from here, but you know it's getting dark outside now, and you have an evening ahead of you. Right. Yes, if you'd like, I need to make some more arrows. I've used quite a few of my fire ones today, so I've got others, but the fire always seems like a good one to go with. So I'll just finish up with those before bed real quick. And you can see him like start laying out these little pouches, and he unfolds some things. Inside there's like a paste in there, and brings out some basic sticks and starts attaching like arrowheads. He gets this one, looks like a flint arrowhead, and he kind of is dipping it in this paste and like putting it around the outside of this arrowhead before he affixes it to the wood shaft, and puts it off to the side, kind of binds the head together with a little bit of twine. He's just preparing arrows for the next day. Yes, that was it. Oh well, I think we're in need of a good story this evening. That's anything to get our minds off what's going on out there. Are you familiar with the Okos Mountains at all? It's a smaller range north of White Fork, still on the western side of the Spines, but into the hills there. I know the feeling. It's old forest, old. My family has a small clan there. They're rock gnomes. They prefer the rockier hill portions of that region. Stick to kind of the hills there, and some small caves. Nothing like this. A little more cheery. They keep things closer to the outside. They don't burrow too deeply into the mountains. Everything has a lovely panoramic window view out the side. They don't bury themselves in the mountains, but mining folk, that sort of thing. Tinkers mostly. I don't know if you're familiar with any tinkering or anything like that, but my parents and Well, I hope so. I hope so. We'll see. They're, as I say, they're a bit spotty. I never had the knack for it like my parents did. They're they're rock gnomes. If you're familiar with the difference, and my family was forest gnomes. So I don't know. Just I don't have the blood for it, I guess. So I was abysmal failure during schooling. I tell you, they tried over and over to teach me artificing and that sort of thing. I just could never get it down. It was rather embarrassing, but you know, I try with my own little takes on things. That's why I keep all the bugs. They're already nature's little chemistry sets, right? The alchemy is just inherent in each little bug is amazing. I get the fire for the arrows. Have you ever seen a bombardier beetle before? And he holds up a jar and he's like rotating around, and it's this like swirling black with like vibrant orange stripes going around it. And he's like, these little beauties right here. See, they've got 2 bits of alchemical within their body. And they fire out those 2 streams, and until they intersect, they produce such a horrible heated reaction that it'll burst into flame. And that's what I use to make my arrows. I get it put in the paste applied to both sides of the arrowhead, and then when I fire it off, they merge together, and then it bursts into flame. It's not for everybody, but I enjoy my little inventions. One day I'd like to make it so I could actually fly. Right now it's just more of a gliding thing. Like I said, I mentioned the squirrel, flying squirrels, if you've ever seen them. Amazing critters. They'll jump from one tree way over there, and they'll glide all their way across from one tree to the next with just this flaps of skin between their legs, right? It's amazing. So that's what I emulated here. So if I jump off a high thing, I grab these 2 handles, give them a great big tug, and I have these little flaps that I can fly down. It doesn't give me much of a vertical, but it at least slows my descent quite a bit most of the time. Oh, that's funny too. I have to admit I was a bit tempted just to try and take a run and jump out the waterfall just to get me on my way, but I didn't really fancy trying to bust through the actual water itself. That seemed like it might put a damper on my efforts. Like as I said, they're a bit spotty at times, so I didn't want to push it with something like that. But lots of things are fun to work on. So. Oh, please do. Please do. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Oh, I was hoping there was going to be a real harmonica busted out in a second. What you were saying that you... Nah, it's all right. You can practice. We got lots of time in the campaign left, so get rolling, man. Yeah, just give it a little toot. Yeah, I've got like my 3rd to 5th grade proficiency in harmonica, so if I can do it, you can do it. When the Saints go marching in, just nail it. Anyways, we'll rotate out. I think that's a good idea. All right. You said you were a soldier in the past. You mentioned something to Brandrick that you were in the wars then. I've heard that there are some clerics out there that can do pretty amazing things. I was just going to say that we might need a powerful cleric to take care of ourselves, all of us here too, depending on what's going on with all of this. I look forward to hearing this one over hopefully over a pint in a much more comfortable tavern somewhere. Okay, yeah. Jasper strings up a hammock in the corner, kind of ties it up between two little chunks of rock and climbs in. Yeah. Sharpen your harmonica. Okay. You want to make a yeah. Want to make a perception check there, Decran? 14. Okay. As you're kind of there, facing the door, sitting on the edge of the bed, kind of honing your blade, trying to get some of the bigger dings out of it that happen when you smack that rock. You're kind of just listening to the methodical shh of the whetstone on the blade. You start hearing very faintly. At first you think you're just imagining it, but then as time goes on and you stop the honing, you can hear just a faint clacking, scratching sound around there, kind of out in the tunnel area. And you can hear it kind of crossing in front, pausing in front of the door, and then going off to the side. Yeah, kind of quiet resumes for a while, and you sit there, and the rest of your watch kind of continues unabated. So, well, it depends on how long is your watch. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'd be with disadvantage because we're asleep. So, yeah, that's like a 6. Yeah, 6 for me. Why don't you go ahead and take the next watch? Hargis, we'll say Hargis takes the second watch. Yeah, you kind of crawl into that single bed there, and we'll assume Brandbreck is curled up in his sleeping bag on the floor, preferring good hard stone to a soft bed as a dwarf would be wont to do. And yeah, you can go ahead and make a perception check as you kind of sit there and maybe quietly strum on your lute there for the evening. 4? Okay, yeah. Yep, things seem to pass pretty quietly. Yeah. Yep, nothing apparently occurring. And yeah, the watch continues, and we'll say we can have, well, yeah, since Brandbreck's not here, he'll take his watch. It'll continue quietly through the evening as well, and you can get basically, yeah, Jasper will take the next watch after that, and dawn comes, and as far as you guys know, it's dawn outside now. Yeah, there's some wood left, yeah. I'll limit how far it can open, you mean? I get what you're saying. Yeah, you could do that. Okay, perception. Okay, yeah, you kind of moving it over. Go ahead and make a perception check. 4. Okay, yeah, it sounds pretty quiet, yeah. Is it, are we ready to go? Did you hear anything else out there? Alright, yeah, you guys peek out. Let's see, now it'd be pretty dark still. Just from time sleeping, you know that it's dawn, but, the lighting is still very, very dim, so. And you look around and it appears to be empty. Yeah, you can shine it down, lights up, 15 feet or so, 30 feet ahead. And yeah, it seems to be clear. Perception check. 8. There's some marks on the, yeah, it's, you see your own kind of footprints and kind of tracked around. A couple maybe somewhat angular gouges that are there. Nothing, there's not like a deep, thick soil that you can really tell anything, specific from. It's, pretty thin coating of just sand and some gravel, that kind of thing. Nothing too obvious about what it is. So nothing coming through. Make up a new accent. It's a very specific accent to this world. Anything you do is correct. Anything you do is correct. Yeah. Exactly. This is a Vesheim accent. It's perfect. No one does it better than you. Yeah. As you guys are sitting there, kind of, like this first kind of wake up in the morning and get around. Now is the point where I would like wisdom checks from everybody. Saving throw. 19. Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys get up and move around, and things seem to be just fine. And yeah, you guys can continue planning accordingly. Yeah. I kind of understand both sides of what you guys are saying. I'm not sure which one's best. I mean, Hargis, what you're saying about not knowing who we can trust or how we got here is certainly something to consider. I not being able to remember, I don't know what to do about it. But then, what are we getting into here? I don't know. It's hard to tell. All right. Let's just keep moving downward then. Let's do it. All right. All right. So going stealthily, I assume. Okay. All right. Let's go. Rushing in. Okay. Go ahead and make stealth checks. All right. And what kind of marching order are you going for? I'd say Brandbreck would. Yeah. Okay. Brandbreck will be right behind you, stealthing along. He's a frontline, stealthy kind of guy. Okay. Jasper in the middle then. All right. So you guys start moving downward. You come into that same hallway. Eventually, you make your way back northward along the main tunnel, and then take the right at that descending hallway going down. As you guys continue downward, kind of approach that room there where you'd left, where you recovered your items. If you kind of glance in there, you'll notice the bodies are all gone from that area. You continue moving downward, and you start getting to the pods there, strung up on the wall, and there's just one or two before the ones that you guys were in that are sliced open, that Chester had sliced open and kind of pulled you out of and freed you from. Then going down, there's a few more that are still up against the wall there. No, it's not. Whatever this is not magical. Yeah, it seems kind of, just this weird rubbery, leathery sort of texture. The ones that are sliced open have kind of dried up. They're filled with this goop that you guys were kind of covered in, and the ones that were sliced open, it's kind of spilled out on the side, and they've dried and withered a bit. And yeah, you don't see. Do you have a question, Austin? No, they're like plastered against the wall, on the side wall, like kind of hanging. So they're all like strung up like weird sleeping bags, but kind of like plastered onto the wall. Okay, yeah, you take your dagger out. Are you going below where you guys were, or the ones above? So you'd have to walk backwards to get to there's two, basically, that were above the line, above where you guys were. And then there was... Go back, okay. So you guys go walking back towards the exit area, closer to the room where you guys had your equipment in, and come to that first pod there. And why don't you make a perception check as you're kind of like looking up in there, and you push the material down and start staring into it. 11, okay. As you're like shining the light and pushing this thing down, you push the rubbery feel of this material. It's leatherish, it's kind of warm to the touch, and as you push it down, you eventually get to a point where you feel a structure underneath, and as you prod at it a bit, you can feel like a jaw line under there, and like it is part of a skull. At least you feel this form underneath it, and as you're like pushing up against it and shining the light on it, you can actually see these features now through this kind of transparent material. It's like looking through a greased plastic bag or something. But as it's close up with the light shining right on it, you can actually see the figure of apparently a human face in there. Appears to be unconscious. Okay. Yes, you start kind of cutting into it, and you pull on it with your dagger, and it kind of like stretches a little bit before it cuts, and stretches and cuts. It's almost like skin with the resilience to it before it tears and slices. And as you get the cut into actually through the material, this purplish goo starts trickling out, and it's warm against your cold fingers in the cold, cool cave air, and you start slicing it and pulling it and slicing it, and you can get it to a point now where it like just kind of spills over the side and starts to drain, and you can expose the face of this younger looking human male, just kind of unconscious lying there. It looks more like they are loosely connected. They look more independent. There's no like pulsing material connecting them. They look like a little bit of overlap in what sticks it against the wall more than anything. There's not like a single pulsing hose or something going from one to the next, but they kind of overlap and are pasted around the edge. Kind of pull that out, and it kind of drains off the face a little bit. As you get this closer look at it now, you can see like the body's breathing in and out, and as you clear the material from the face and it's exposed to the air, it exhales, and it just kind of goes and glubs out of the nose and mouth, and just kind of like trickles out, and the figure starts kind of coughing. It's like and kind of throws up a big glop of the stuff and kind of coughs and is laying there, still unconscious, but like it's raggedly breathing the air now, lying there with the face exposed. There were two above you guys. You were in 4, and then you'd come up, and you hadn't gone much past the 2 more that were below you. So you'd kind of seen the 2 above the ones that were all open, the 4 that you guys, including Jasper, were inside. The one that was open that had the other human figure in there. And then 2 more beyond that. So you're not quite sure how much further it goes down, but you'd seen a total of 9 so far. Yeah, you can feel it there pretty big. It seems I'll do an investigation as you do that. 14. So yeah, you can definitely feel it there. It feels of maybe similar size, maybe slightly larger in freshness. You can almost feel the kind of tattered sides of it, when you rub it, like it hasn't quite come back together. But yeah, you can feel this slice on the back. Yeah, you're kind of smacking and looking at him, jostling him a little bit, and from the time you cut it open, it's been a couple minutes now. And as you're kind of smacking him, like, hey, come on, buddy, wake up. After another 30 seconds or so of doing that, eventually you start seeing the eyes start to twitch, and it goes, what? Who are you? What? What? What's going on? Yes, it's Thomas. What am I doing? Who are you? What am I doing here? What is this? And he's just in the neck thing, and he starts to, like, kind of struggle, and he's, like, trying to push himself out. Get me out of this thing. Get me out. Yes, let's hurry. Let's go. Yeah. It's in my mouth. Yeah, he takes a quick pull out of hands it back. Yeah. Yeah, it's all goopy on the bottom. Yeah. As he gets out now and you get a better look at him, yeah, you can see he's got this thick brown beard, and other than that, relatively short hair, looking around, and he's just like, what's going on here? What's going on? What is this place? Fishing. I was going for the snow crab in the lake. That's it. Yes. Galen Falls Lake. It's what I'm a crab fisherman. Okay. Is there anyone else here? Where's Dannon? Is there more of you? I came. And he's like grabbing his head. What? Yep. Okay. I appreciate that. Thanks for not using it. Can we get out of here now then? Yeah. There was quite a few sets of clothes and stuff in there. Very common-looking clothes in some of the kind of wardrobes and chests around the outside. Your table, yeah. So yeah, there was. Okay, yeah. You already opened all those there. Is that what you guys were in those? Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay. Which one? I don't. I am naked. Okay. He's walking past that one pod there, and he's kind of looking into it, and he actually goes up to it, and he's like, this is what I was like. And he pushes it down, and he's like, I think that's Dannon. That looks like him. Okay, I can try. I'm not a fighter, but it's Dannon. I've known him for 25 years, so we grew up together. He's not gonna attack me. All right. Cut that one open. Yeah. Okay, yeah. He kind of hurriedly pulls on some clothes, and he actually looks around for a bit, and towards the edge of that table there's like a box just set on the edge that you guys look through, and just full of, again, mundane clothes. But he runs up and like is looking through, and he's like, these are my clothes. And you can see there, he's got this oiled, heavy, long trench coat that he puts on, along with some good, thick woolen sweater and sturdy pants and stuff like that. And it's just, if you've ever seen a guy who's out on the water in the cold, this looks like a guy who's, geared up for that. It's mostly just warm and water resilient as best he can put together. So, yeah, he puts it on quickly, and he's like, this is Dannon's clothes too. And so he grabs it into a bundle. And yeah, he's got a big bundle of it there. And he's okay. Yeah. Same thing. You slide it open and it gloops out. After getting his face exposed, he kind of exhales it and it comes out and kind of ends up coughing himself awake. And as his eyes shutter open, eventually he looks around. He's like, "What's going on? And Thomas runs over and he's like, "It's all right." Yeah, Thomas runs over. He's like, "Sorry, we're getting you out of here. Come on, just deep breaths. It's okay." And he starts like tearing it and trying to help him get out. And yeah, assists him in getting out, and they get dressed, and they're standing there looking pretty shocked and confused, just gazing about. He's like, yes. Thomas and I go together. No, that's the last thing I recall. And he looks at him. He's like, "What happened?" He's like, I don't know. And he's kind of puzzled and think, were we coming up the ropes? And Thomas is like, I don't recall. He's like, "No, we were coming up the ropes and one of them gave and we fell into the water." And he's like, maybe, I don't know. What he means is the ropes to get in and out of the lake from town. The cliffs are sheer down on all sides of the lake. Galen owns the only actual portage in there where there's an actual shoreline to access the lake, and everyone else has to either pay him the fines to go in or try and scale the vertical cliffs down. So we don't have that kind of cash, so we've always just used ropes to get a boat down into the lake for fishing, and people fall. Somewhat, I guess, that's possible. But yes, the ropes are usually fine, but if one of the pillars gave way or something and we fell in, I don't know how we would have survived it, but fisherman falls into the lake, he's gonna die. It's too cold. There's no swim in it. You freeze up before you can do anything. But yeah, and Dan's like, I remember being about halfway up and seeing the pillar start to give way, the post that we had tied the ropes onto. It gave way and we fell down in. I think. Yeah, that's it. That's the last I recall. Well, I mean, I would be pretty excited about leaving here. Why don't we just leave? And you guys want to stay here? Well, fishing's a dangerous business. If we lose a boat, we lose the crew. Sometimes it. We say the ice will take you if you're not careful, and that's just the dangers of it. But it's a living, right? So, I'd heard about some kids gone missing, maybe. Something. Maybe I don't know. It was just something people were talking about around town. That maybe a group of them had gone off or something. I don't know. I mean, how difficult is it to get out of here? Is it just we just go straight out, or what? The waterfall's straight ahead. Just straight up the tunnel is the waterfall. All right. Okay. So if we go to the right, that'll take us north, right? All right. And he looks at it like, yeah, that's easier to traverse to the north. So we'll take the north path then. Are there? You said mindless killers or something like that around? Are there more of them around, or? All right. Yeah, maybe just take us to an exit then, and then we can go back to town and get help from people. I've never heard of people being recovered from the lake before, so this is something else. Yes, that would be. We could ask around. I'm thinking, I mean, over the course of the whole year, I think we've lost, let's think, over the entire year, I think there's been, what was it, 4 or 5? Yeah, 5, maybe 5 or 6 total men missing from fishing. Trying to think. I suppose it is a bit high. Yeah, some years are worse than others, I suppose. I mean, there was a lot of winds this year, and I mean, last year wasn't bad. I think we didn't lose anyone last year. Well, we lost only one last year, so I guess it is sort of high. You get used to that sort of thing, right? Yeah. All right, yeah, okay. All right, we'll take a look. Yeah, right. Okay. All right, let's go. So you guys move your way back down. Yes, you saw 2 more. And as you get close to those 2, you can see there's kind of into the darkness there, a third one kind of fading into the darkness on the edge kind of that area. Okay. Yes, you go up and okay. Yeah, you start slicing that one open. As you do, you get it exposed in the face, and no beard. Seems to be longer haired. Woman's face comes out of it, and she kind of starts coming out there, and the kind of blurbs out all of the goop from her nose and mouth, and she starts coughing. And as the eyes open, she kind of looks around, panicked, and she starts going and starts like struggling against the inner port there, and you can see the hand starting to like scrape against the skin, frantically trying to get out of it. Just yeah, she's like scratching at it and starts trying to pull at the part where it's exposed there and starts trying to rip it open. Just yeah, she's ripping it open frantically, starting to peel it open, getting an arm out, and starting to like crawl out of it. Not responsive at all to your this would be an initiative. you can smack her as you take a step back, and yeah, she's just it's coming out, and she's coming out. Jasper's kind of sitting there with the bow. He's like starting to like kind of like tentatively like put it up because like he's really not enjoying the situation. Are we just doing it? Are we just doing it? It's got kind of that frantic vibe to it, yeah. I think I'm not speaking out of turn for Brandbreck here when he comes up, tosses his dagger into his hand, goes for the pommel, and just tries to like bop her straight on the head. That seems to be pretty much. So he's gonna make that attack with advantage, and okay, all right, yeah. So close to a natural 20, but he comes up and just goes tuck, and she drops instantly, just slumped halfway out of this thing, and kind of just laying there. And he looks at her and goes, "Right, enough pussyfooting around," and he pushes her back in, and she's like kind of hanging there now, arms out, head lolled to the side. And from further down in the tunnel now, you guys can hear like a kind of echoes quietly up. I think maybe, yes. I think I've seen her around town. Maybe, yeah. I don't know what she'd be doing here. And you're looking at her, and she's fairly young, maybe, late teens kind of a thing. 18, 19 years old. Yeah. These guys are older. Maybe. It's hard to tell. I haven't seen her like this. These two older fisherman guys, maybe. I think maybe we've seen her up by the over by the rich side of town, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. All right. And they start, and you can, as they go up and they start, like, they pull her hands up and they kind of turn her sideways so she's not into the goop anymore, and they are, gingerly and kind of tying knots around her hands and everything. And you can hear echoing further down the tunnel more of these sounds. It seems like there's a increasing racket as you guys are now progressing further down. Okay. So you go up to the next one and start cutting that one open. Another young man comes to. As you're looking at him, you pull that head open, pull his head out of the goop, and it goops out of his nose. And after another couple minutes there, he's like... he starts struggling around. Gets the thumbs into it and he starts tearing at it. Alright, you can do this with advantage since he's restrained. You're going for pommel strike, or what are you trying for here? Oh yeah, no problem. And yeah, in his condition, it's easy enough to knock him out. He just goes down. And as you guys kind of like put him into a position where he's a little more stable, you see coming up from the tunnel a small, not small, but dog-sized, kind of spider-like creature with a curved shell almost on top of it. These large mandibles. It comes up and it kind of comes up at you guys just at the edge of the light, and it goes and it's spitting at you, and it's like, and it starts like just at the edge of the light, and it's like walking backwards further, hissing and spitting at you guys. Seems to be not pleased with your presence here. Might be a good place to stop for this week.